Hello and welcome to Redmen TV. It's Jonathan here again, folks, after what I'll call is a very, very frustrating 1-all draw against Chelsea. It's literally the final whistle is just blown, so, forgive me here now, emotions are high. It was such a frustrating game to watch, particularly at the end, the manner in which I'll go as far as say we threw away a 1-goal lead. Like a win here today would have been huge, particularly after the misfortune of the result that we had midweek. And it would have just shot us up that league table there, particularly with Spurs dropping points earlier on. So if you look at it in the cold light of day, a 1-all draw against the league champions is probably not the worst result of the world, but it doesn't feel like that now at the moment, folks. Just frustrated, really. It's another opportunity blown, really. I will go as far as saying it's blown. It was a weird type of a game. It was a weird type of a day, really. Like, it was well documented, the team selection and the number of changes that we made. Was doing the rounds all morning. And the biggest shock with that was the gamble that Klopp took with not picking probably two of our most effective attacking options. That being Mane and that being Bobby. Now I know Mane did come on at the end there for a couple of minutes in just of a kind of a last throw everything at the last throw of the dice, really, to try and nick a winner at the end. Frustrating game. We started probably decently. We spoke midweek about what sort of an approach we would take. Would we sit back, or would we really be aggressive and push from the off? And straight from the first whistle, we got in their face. Like, it was Chelsea had that back 3/5. And they were very, very stubborn in the way they wanted to bring the ball out from the back. And right from the first half, we were aggressive. We were in their face. We pushed really high. We did all the running in the first half of the first half. Really, there it was just us setting the tempo, and Chelsea were more than willing just to sit deep. At large periods there, it was the back five, and then you had the three centre midfielders right in front of that, and they were pretty much just looking to try and get in behind us. You had Morata and you had Hazard. Just trying to get ball the feeders and just spin us around. And for the first 20 minutes or so, it was all pretty much Liverpool, and we kind of pressed high. We were kind of full of hard grat work and all that, but there wasn't really much substance to our play. Salah aside, we were pretty much blunt. I thought, really, it was, I know we had all the possession, we were doing all the forcing, but you could argue that probably Chelsea were more the effective in any of the chances they had. And there was a spell there where about halfway through the first half where it looked like literally they just ripped us to bits in midfield. Anytime they got the ball and just ran at us, I thought, to be fair, Henderson and Milner were extremely poor, especially in a defensive form. I thought the two of them were very, very poor, and Henderson especially, I thought, had an extremely poor game, unfortunately, and just totally ran over. There was no bit of substance at all to the middle of the park. There was that number 6 role was brutally exposed, and Hazard, you just spun us around the place, and they just tore into us. And they have a couple of chances, from a couple of breakaways, and then from a corner then as well. And then there's the most Liverpool scramble in the box in the first half there with a corner that's coming flying back and forth. But to be fair, we did kind of get our foot back on the game towards the end of the first half there, and it was one of those where half chances, really. We were one chance away, or Chelsea were very aggressive in their defending, and they particularly hung on to Salah, especially, and Coutinho to a lesser extent. And it was interesting to see the way Salah kind of set himself up in the first half. He wasn't playing right out in the wing. He was kind of tucked in, trying to run at that channel down a Cahill. And, he was definitely our shining light in the first half there. And I think Klopp reflected that, really, in the way that he changed things at half time. He brought Chamberlain out to the right, and kind of Salah was playing more as a central striker. And particularly towards the end, then when he took Sturridge off after the goal, he was our only striking option. And we probably, to be fair, I'll speak about the goal first. It was a lovely bit of play from Coutinho. Ball kind of ricochets in the box and I thought Chamberlain does exceptionally well just to kind of get a little foot on, get a little nick on the ball, and he pushes it through, and then Salah takes a touch and just strokes it into the bottom corner. And I'm starting to run out of words of how to describe just how important and how effective and how much of an excellent signing he has been so far for us. And you'd struggle to think what would we be like without him. It doesn't really bear thinking about really. And there was a couple of opportunities there. I thought he was so close to getting another one or two goals there, and there's a couple of half chances, a couple of decent saves, a couple of attacks where we were just kind of just that little bit away from just getting that all important second goal, because we right after we took the lead, we kind of made a stance. Sturridge was whipped off, and I was probably thinking like Genie had been warmed up for quite a while. I had thought that he was going to probably replace Milner, but I'm not sure did Klopp change his mind or whatever. But it was always going to be Sturridge come off then, and then Salah was playing pretty much up front on his own, and we sat back and we sat back and we sat back, and Chelsea kind of came into the game, but in a weird type of way. They had a couple of half chances. There was a couple of one or two chances that they really messed up. I remember that breakaway from the corner, where I think Henderson misses another tackle in midfield. I don't know how many of those there was today. How many times do we see Henderson jump in, try and get a tackle, miss it, and you see him on the shoulders trying to spin around and chase him back. And even for the goal itself, like he misses a simple clearance, ball comes out, he misses it. They turn us. Clavin, I don't know what he's doing, comes running out, totally explosive, and then it's just the worst bit of bad luck that you could think about. Like, I thought the United goal earlier on today was poxy, but Williams' goal has just taken it to a whole new level. Like, there's no way in hell he was trying to shoot from there. And I see some people giving stick to Ming. Like, to be fair, I'm far from his biggest fan, but I don't think you can blame him in that instance. I think he's in the right position for the cross that's coming. He's clearly trying to cross the ball to Morata in the middle, and it just shanks. And it's one of those, it's that awful, sickish feeling when you see the ball go and you're like, oh no, it's coming in. And then it's just like, it just sucks the life out of us. And particularly after the disaster midweek where we threw away a lead, it would have been nice if we were able to hold on to it. And then, interestingly, that was the kind of the trigger point really for Klopp to try and, all of a sudden, where a game where we'd been kind of sitting deep and we'd almost gone to a 5 in midfield, and there was a couple of chances where if we had another attacking option on, we could have got a second goal away on the break. And it's the one thing you can argue about. Now I'm not sure, maybe he was carrying knock, they only had a couple of minutes into him, but it would have been nice to have brought Manny on a little earlier, because there was a couple of opportunities there where he really could have met hay and he really could have stretched them, because they were wide open there. And we had a couple of half opportunities on the turn where we had someone else like Manny on. It would have been excellent just to finish the game off. The impulse then of bringing him on right at the end, he's very little time to do anything, so just frustrating. You see, it's interesting. You could see Manny was pretty cheesed off at the end. I don't know what his gripe was. Maybe it was the fact that he was only on for a couple of minutes. And it was such an impulse as well, because Lallana had been standing there for ages waiting to come on, and then all of a sudden they score, and then you just see him going, "Hey, Manny, come on" as well. And Manny's there. You see him rushing to get his shin guards on or whatever, and he's clearly, I don't think, hasn't done any warm up. Now I know he probably would have done a little earlier. But he's brought off the cold almost, and he hasn't got a chance. And we do go brave at the end. We go 3 at the back and we push forward with limited to no effect really. But I felt like if we wanted to make a change like that earlier on was the time to do it, and we really could have pushed on. Klopp has taken a big gamble today. With the team selection. Now I know there was probably he's probably restricted in terms of injuries, and I suppose I'm sure the sports science team were in his ear throughout the day. But if you look at it away from that in a cold, dark light, without really worrying about the players' welfare, the gamble didn't play off. We didn't get the win. We were close to getting the win, but not quite. And definitely I would question probably the substitutions. But it's just a frustrating day, because they were there for the taking, and to lose. Not to lose, even I'm going negative all of a sudden, but to drop points from a fluky goal like that, it is very, very frustrating, because look, I don't need to state just how important 3 points would have been there, but there you are, 1-1 draw. Frustration really is the biggest thing. I'll try and stay optimistic, but I'm very, very frustrated with that. But there you are. I'll wrap it up. I'll be back shortly with the player rating videos. So if you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to Redmen TV, and I will speak to you all very soon.